The Boring Company tunnel unveiling happened a couple of days ago, and I'm sure by now you pretty much have seen everything that happened during the event, what it means, all of the new technology that they've unveiled and not unveiled. I made a video about it as well, but I was there in person. So let me tell you what actually happened at the event, at the actual party, before, after, some people that I saw. I actually got to pretty much been in presence of Elon Musk for a while. I'll show you that footage, and I'll tell you why I decided not to actually engage. I've thought back about it, and I think I made the right choice. So let me tell you all about it coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. It is actually free. All right, so I drove down to Los Angeles with Eli, who is the president of My Tesla Adventure, a North American Tesla approved, a certified club, and also the creator of the Starman. Now I'm gonna have a separate video about him and an interview with him, because I mean, there's some amazing things happen to him, and I'm really excited. But it was really cool to take pretty much a road trip with somebody who's very like-minded. And Eli has kind of reminds me of why I was excited about Tesla and the brand in the first place, and about Elon Musk. I know I've kind of taken a different route now because I'm covering all electric cars, but it's always great to hang out with them. I mean, I'm sure you've seen him many times on my channel, my Instagram feed, and the other way around. So it was really cool to experience this with him. But let me run some footage of what I took with my cell phone. Actually, most of the B-roll I take with my cell phone because it's really good enough camera, actually. And I'll tell you a little bit about what was going on behind the scenes. I do have to say that event, now that I've gone to quite a few of them, wasn't exactly organized well. I'll tell you about it at the end, but most of us who were promised and given like these little tokens didn't really get to ride the actual car in a tunnel. And I think most of the people kind of were, that was the main thing, right? I mean, obviously Elon's presentation was great, but riding in a tunnel, so it didn't happen. We might get invited back, but anyway. Before I get to my footage, I want to remind you that this show and this channel is sponsored by Climate Exchange. They're doing a huge raffling off 3 brand new Teslas on the New Year's Day. The tickets, you can buy them using the link in the description of this video. They're $250 each, but your chances are pretty good because there are 3 Teslas and no more than 4,000 tickets that are going to be sold. They obviously make great gifts, and even if you don't win, you'll be doing a good deed by contributing to a non-profit organization that's trying to get us all to the low carbon economy. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the footage. So this is pretty much the kind of the entrance that we basically stood reliant for about half an hour to get to. They were showcasing the actual machine and what's inside with all the pretty cool lighting here, with a crane and a lot of really cool stuff. And as you can see, it started relatively early and the weather was pretty nice. And there were quite a few different sections where people could do different activities. And I definitely have to say that as far as the space, it was really nicely done. As you can see, there's the not a flamethrower. I'll show you that footage a little bit later as well. The food, I have to say, wasn't the best, but it was like hot dogs and sandwiches and something very like low key. Again, usually you expect a little bit more than that, but they had an open bar. Even though I don't drink, open bar obviously helps. A lot of people definitely got much more fun once they took a few trips to the open bar. Here they also had tweets that basically kind of Elon Musk have tweeted out about all of kind of a history of how he decided to start the company and why and so forth. There were quite a lot of different interesting people there. In a second, you'll see that's Dan from What's Inside. That's Zach. That's Casey Neistat, by the way, who was there pretty much for the entire night. I hung out with Dan for a little bit. It was really cool, but I don't know Casey Neistat myself, so I just saw him. This is a tower made out of the bricks from the dirt that's gotten out of the a tunnel, which is essentially what's going to finance a lot of this drilling. More cool displays of the machine inside. I mean, I think this one is kind of done. That's Eli, and that's Fred from, he's the editor-in-chief of Electric. His interview on my channel was posted last week. This is me and Zach from Zach and Jesse of Now You Know. I don't know why I never actually took a video of us. Unfortunately, and that's Zach talking to, I think that's Ben from Teslanomics. Unfortunately, Jesse wasn't able to be there. I guess he had to work. It would have been great to see him as well. But Zach was there solo, having a really good time. He got in early and did some live stream, which kind of gave us an idea what was happening inside. That's where the tunnel is, and that's the car that they were showcasing. And everybody kind of had to. We didn't know where to go. We really didn't know where to go. And they finally told us where it is. There's a lot of people just having fun with the flamethrowers and taking pictures. That's Franz hanging out with everybody. Most of the executive staff was pretty accessible, including Elon at the end, and I'll show you some footage of that. That's from my point of view. This is Elon arriving, and I guess I was in the right spot because the car literally stopped where I was standing, and he literally hit me with the door. So that was pretty cool to kind of see him up close and personal. That was the closest I've seen him until later that night. Just like I said, the event was really that well organized because you'll see he comes in through the tunnel, then he goes to do the speech, which was pretty cool, right? The background was just like freaking perfect. That was great. But then don't forget, all of us kind of gathered around the area, as you can see the ropes. So what ended up happening is once he was done, well, he got kind of cornered. See, now he's done. And then he's like, well, where do I go? So he had to go through the ropes, through the entire crowd, which, and I think he only had like one security guy with him right there. See, that's his security guy. And he ended up going through the crowd. Now, obviously, these are mainly VIPs. It was a relatively small crowd, so no trouble. But still, security-wise, probably not the safest thing. At the same time, good on Elon to actually be able to walk through people and talk to them and shake hands and give autographs. So that was really, really, really cool of him. I thought the accessibility was great, especially at this point where he's a huge celebrity and he doesn't really need to do that. As you can see later that night, he just came out and just hung out with people and talked to them for a little bit. I ended up standing right next to him, and that's going to be, right here. I'm just standing next to him for a while. I'm not going to enclose audio here. Obviously, it was a private conversation. I decided not to talk to him. Well, because as a media person, they just weren't doing interviews. The music was loud. Too loud anyway. It was copyrighted music, as you know, we can't put it on here anyway. But as far as and there were a lot of people coming up and with kind of two things they wanted to say, either oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Elon, you're the best. I just want to make sure my mom loves you, or oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Elon, I have the best idea for you. You have to drop everything you're doing and let me tell you what my uncle created, yesterday that will blow your mind. And to me, I just didn't feel like it was really the right time to have any even private conversations. And I'm, as you know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I knew what to say. My feelings about him are kind of mixed now. So I don't know. It was just not the right place, not the right setting. And maybe I just didn't have enough to say, though I probably should have just said, hey, listen, thank you for giving me my job. I don't work for you, but you gave me this job that I love so much now. And, thank you for the rest of our community. So, but again, there were plenty of people who said that wasn't going to be anything new. I was just going to be, taking up his space. I thought, what? Let me just stand there and enjoy being in his presence. You guys, as you know, I criticize them a lot, but at the same time, I still believe he's one of the most important people on the planet, and a huge genius in many ways. So just being in his presence there, just stating him like I'm standing to a friend, was a really, really, really cool experience. So now the event itself, just like I said, let me be a bit of a Debbie Downer. For those who attended, was pretty poorly done. Not only everybody had to stand in a really, really long line, like literally 45 minutes, and I've heard everybody had to stand in line. Like, okay, forget about common folk like me, but I think like investors and some of the executives, everybody had to stand in one line. It was kind of weird because they had 5 people checking people in, right? Again, most of the time events like that, that's not a problem. They're not being run as nightclubs where you have to stand in line for too long. Once you got in, just like I said, the food was kind of disappointing. Usually these events are being catered by some really nice restaurants, and the food is really nice. They had hot dogs. They had fried chicken and fries and sandwiches. That was pretty much all we had. I mean, I'm gluten free, so I couldn't eat any of that stuff. But just generally speaking, but I think the biggest disappointment, not I think, the biggest disappointment is that, most of us were given this tokens when we came in, right? I actually ended up with two because somebody got really just had to go. And the biggest thing that I was looking forward to is a ride in one of those cars, and they did not even get to calling the numbers, right? Like the VIP and the press and some executives, they got to ride in it. Casey Neistat obviously did, but the rest of the people with numbers didn't get to ride it at all. They just kind of closed it down by midnight, and that was really disappointing because it's not something that it's not like the car broke down or a tunnel broke down. They could have calculated it in and either maybe had a different day, like maybe the next day or maybe throughout the day earlier in the day, get people appointments, and that's how it's usually done. Or just not do that for non-press and non-VIP people. Just say, listen, that's just for press and VIP. By the way, even if I did get a chance to do it, we still wouldn't be able to take video. Even just like I said, Casey Neistat and Dan from What's Inside, they're huge YouTubers. They were not allowed to run the camera. So this was just going to be a personal experience of mine. But other than that, it was a really, really interesting and fun event that I enjoyed. It certainly was cool to see Elon Musk in person, be part of this event, see the tunnel, and hang out with a lot of great people. Just like I said, the video with Eli is also going to be coming up. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about this. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.